Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Celtic View Podcast, the official podcast of the 9 in a row winners. I'm Joe Donnelly, a reporter at the Celtic View, and I'm joined today by an extra special guest, a man who's won 21 trophies at Celtic, 19 since becoming captain, a man who's been here for all 9 of the 9 in a row run, and a man who somehow, like The Rock, Jason Statham and Bruce Willis, suits being bald better than having hair. You can feel the the jealousy ripping out of me. Scott, thanks for joining the podcast.
Thanks very much, Joe. Much appreciated.
How was that for an intro? Take lessons from Jerry McCulloch. How was that for you?
Oh, that was lovely. I tell you what, you've got a job in this.
We're here today to talk about 9 in a row. I've brought some props. We've got the story of 9 in a row, which is our Christmas book at the Celtic Multimedia team, and we've got our Time, the DVD this year as well. We'll speak about the DVD, which is a season review of the season that's just been, in a second. We'll speak first about the book, which chronicles 9 in a row, which amid a year which has been very unusual for everybody, not least the footballing world and you guys as well. We almost forget how successful the club has been because we're so focused on the here and now, which is how it has to be. This book, I was one of the contributors, and it was great to look back over the last 10 years at Celtic. Of course, Scott, you've been a central part of that. Do you ever have to kind of pinch yourself just to remind yourself how big it's been at Celtic for the last 10 years?
Yeah, I think for us it's been huge, and me and Jamesy are the only two that are still left now, and we've had some great players come through, some great lads as well being part of the change room, being part of the team celebrations as well, and also on the pitch as well, where the most important thing always happens. And it's obviously hard this year because there's no fans, there's no one there to celebrate when you win a game and you score a goal, but we have to deal with that. But this is about looking at the past and looking at the last 9 years and showing what a great effort it has been from everyone at the Celtic Football Club.
I mean, you mentioned yourself and James Forrest being the two guys. Stevie Woods as well, of course, deserves a mention. He's been there throughout as well. But you guys on the pitch, you guys are the two players that have been there, the first players to do so since Billy McNeil, since Bobby Lennox and since Jimmy Johnson. And I know you've had that put to you before, Scott, but you have to be mentioned in the same breath as those guys. That must be a true honour. No,
it's amazing for me and James. I can totally see James and Jinky together. Not too sure what one I'm going to be out the other two, but no, it's a great honour to still be here, to have been here for 13 years and still playing, still hopefully winning trophies, and hopefully we keep talking about rewriting history year on year, which has been fantastic for us in the last 9 years. But we just got to make sure that we keep our standards high, and we keep playing, we keep winning games, and we keep putting a smile on the fans' faces.
And just one thing about James Forrest, of course, like yourself, he's been here for the full 9 in a row run. And in this book, whilst we're looking over the last 9 successful seasons, that of course charts James's full journey in the Celtic senior side. Given that he came through the academy as well, I mean, he really epitomises so much about what the club stands for.
Yeah, definitely. He's what the club want to do. We want to bring the young ones through. We want to keep them here. We don't want them to leave. And if they do leave, we wish them all the best because they've came through and they've showed us how unbelievable that they can be over the past 3 or 4 years. But for us, Neil started with Jamesy and the Resis. He brought him in through there, and then he put him in the first team as well. So I think you've got to look at a lot of that because it was maybe overlooked beforehand, and Neil fancied him really, and the gaffer knows a player, he knows when to bring him in, and he thought James was mature enough at the time, and he came in, and let's be honest, we've never looked back, and his goals, his assists, there's a lot of people who talk about how many goals that he's probably not scored in the first part of his career, but now he's obviously putting those words back in everyone's mouth now because he's scoring willy-nilly. His assists this season, last season was unbelievable, and he's a great player. He's a fantastic guy, and he's great in the change rooms. I think it's one of those people that you don't know that you miss him until he's not there, and you miss those goals, you miss those assists, and you miss his pace and his explosiveness within 10-15 yards of going forward, because at any given time you know that he can create a chance from nowhere or take you up the park if you're struggling and you're defending a bit with his pace, and it's been truly missed recently.
And you mentioned the manager as well, of course, giving James his debut back in 2010. James comes on for Aidan McGeady, another academy boy, And then, of course, the manager wins the first few of the current run, comes back, steadies the ship, and then gets us over the line with 9 as well, which is a remarkable story in itself.
Yeah, he's a fantastic man. He's done brilliant for this club when he's been playing as a manager as well, and he seems to be getting better and better as years go along, and he's definitely mellowed as well, and he's enjoying every single moment of it because he knows how big this club is, and it means so much to him as well to be here, to be part of it, and he wants us to create history year after year after year, and that's why he came back, and I think it was the right decision at the right time.
Speaking of making history, 19 trophies as captain, Scott. When you first took that armband, I mean, I know you've said so many times you wanted to come to Celtic to win trophies, but to have the haul and to still be going, I mean, you probably couldn't have seen it being as good as it is. I don't know, how do you feel about that?
They should have given me the armband a wee bit earlier. The first part of my career wasn't so good. I didn't win too many. No, it was a great honour. Tony gave me the opportunity to captain Celtic. He asked me, and I obviously jumped at the chance of it. And being quite young at the time, I think a lot of people thought that I wasn't quite ready for it. But I think it made me mature really quickly. I think it made me grow into the player that I am as well. And everyone thought I was going to be an attacking midfielder, and Gordon brought me in, and I understood the game more than anything. And I've had some great managers at the club that for me that have pushed me in. I think Brendan goes as another one as well. I think probably most people thought when Ronnie was here that my legs had gone, but Brendan pushed me on to a different level. And I think you've got to look back at your career and thank every single manager for the little bit that they gave you, whether it's huge or it's a little bit. And there's always bits and bobs and things that you take from each and every manager, and that you remember that. And you obviously got a lot of thanks for them as well, because they're the ones that have kept me at the club and kept me in as captain as well.
Your favourite memories of 9 in a row are mentioned to a great extent in the book and in the DVD, the season review of last season. One of the features which we run in the Celtic View every week, marketing department will absolutely love me today given the amount of promotion, is 9 from 9, where we get fans and we ask them 9 questions about 9 in a row. What was their favourite games, favourite players, favourite moments, not just in the domestic competitions but across Europe as well. So I'm putting you on the hot seat today, Scott. To start things off, your favourite game over the course of 9 in a row, what would you name that as?
Favourite game would have to be cup final of the first treble, the Invincible one. Tom Rodgick's goal. It was one of those games that we've played really well. They had a chance, we had a chance. Johnny Hayes has scored. And it's just one of those things that we never thought we were going to get over the line, but we had that belief in each other as well that we could keep going. We thought it was maybe going to be injury time, but then Tom gets the ball and Tom does what he does best, and he pulls people out of position and he gets somebody one-on-one and he chops it to his right foot and manages to play it in behind Joe Lewis, which was incredible. And the celebrations running into the corner, the fans jumping on top of us, and us knowing that we had 2 minutes to hold out for us to do the first Invincible Treble in the club's history. So it was unbelievable scenes going back into the change room. Brendan says he always had that belief in us, and I think that's what it slowly installed in us, that we knew that it could be a top quality team, that we can push boundaries and that we could keep creating history. And for us, that's what we want to do. We want to create history for this club. We want to put on good performances and put smiles on every single fan's face.
I think I was a fan at the game watching that goal, and because of when it came, the angle I was at, I thought it hit the side net. And when I spoke to Tom after joining the media team, he says, he reckons he never had any idea how long was left. He knew it was near the end of the game, but he didn't realise it was quite near the end, which I think somehow makes that goal even more special, because Tom on the pitch, he's a wizard with the ball, isn't he? And what he does, he makes it look so effortless. And the fact that maybe he didn't realise we're so close to the end makes it even cooler for me.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player, and I think he's one of those players that I talked about Nakamura when I first came in here, that he could keep the ball off you in a phone box, and Tom's the exact same. He's an absolute genius with a ball, and he sees passes, he scores some incredible goals for us as well. The goal against Kilmarnock down at Rugby Park, the goal against Rangers as well, and then he scores that goal against Aberdeen in the cup final, and he picks and chooses his moments, and those big goals at big times, that's what big players do. And he's a fantastic player. He's been here long enough to know what the club's about, and he's been unbelievable, to be perfectly honest.
I'm sure you could name the entire squad with this next question. You might name Tom Rogic, and feel free to name yourself. Who's your favourite player over the course of 9 in a row?
I've got to say Jamesy Forrest.
Why? How come?
He's been my only partner in crime that's not left my side. I've had a lot of mates come in. I've had a lot of mates come, leave, stay for 3-4 years, stay for 6-7 years. But Jamesy's the one that I can't get rid of. But to be perfectly honest, he's been absolutely amazing. We get on really well. We always have done since he came up, and he's been a great lad. And he's a player that wants to be here. He's a player that wants to continue being here, and he wants to finish his career here. And I think when you look at that, the Celtic fans appreciate that as well, and they know that James's loyalty is always going to be there. And sometimes they maybe take that a little bit for granted and get on him, but he's fantastic, whether it's in the change room or it's out there on the pitch and creating goals and creating chances.
Yeah. Favourite goal?
My favourite goal, or?
Oh, well, whatever you want. You're in the hot seat. Favourite goal, just generally speaking. But if you want to name one of your own, this is your moment, Scott.
I can't pick it. Can't pick one of my own. Ollie's goal against Lazio.
Yeah.
I think for us to have that bigger performance, for us to win the first ever game on Italian soil and to beat Lazio home and away when they've been doing so well in the league and the way they've been playing football as well. Plus, we went 1-0 down 5-10 minutes into the game. So it's unbelievable how well we came back. Jamesy scores a goal, and then I think it's maybe 5 minutes to go again. Ollie comes on as sub, and what a finish and what a celebration as well. I just remember Hatton going off injured and me turning around running after Ollie, and he was sprinting past me and he's done his groin. So it's little things that you remember, and it makes it incredible feeling as well. And for us to go back on that plane, all the lads feeling so proud of themselves as well, because we knew if we performed, we had a chance. We got to 1-1, and I think pretty much anyone would have taken that at the time. But with that belief to go forward, and the manager made the right sub at the right time, and Ollie comes on and does what Ollie does best. He goes forward, he creates chances, and he's very, very composed in the ball as well.
I remember my colleague Tony Conley speaking to Ollie just after that goal for the Celtic View, and Ollie himself was really critical of that first touch he takes, which takes him a little bit out wide. And my thinking is, if that's a poor touch, if that's how you make up for it, then feel free to take a poor touch anytime you want, Olivier.
To be fair, it was a poor touch. We all got onto him for that, but it was a great finish. I'll let my way with second touch.
Favourite European night? It might be that night in Lazio. It could be Barcelona. It could be anything, whichever one.
It's got to be the same one.
Yeah.
It's got to be Lazio. It was huge for us. It was a big game, big result, and for us, we topped the group as well, an extremely hard group. So for us, it was probably our best European run that we've had for a long time, and it was overdue. And for us to be top of that group, and as I say, especially with the teams that were in the group as well, for us to top it was a great feeling for all the lads.
The atmosphere that night in Rome was spectacular. Bringing it back home over the course of 9 in a row, what would you say was your favourite atmosphere at Celtic Park?
What Rangers game would you like me to say?
This is the beauty of this, Scott.
I would like to say the Joey Barton one.
Yeah.
That put a huge smile on my face. He came up here, he topped the great game, and I just put him back in his little box and sent him back down the road. It was only a matter of time, but he topped the talk, but couldn't walk the walk. And for us, we always do our talking on the park. We try not to say too much to the media, and it's been installed in us. And I think that's the best way to go, because the more you talk, the more people want to put you down. And that was the whole thing that was going in my head. And I had all my mates text me the day before the game saying, "Oh, Joey's going to get you. This is what's going to happen. The best player in Scotland, he's just coming up. Here he goes." And for us to win 5-1, and I think I beat him in every single 50-50, beat him in the air as well, where I can't even jump. But it was one of those days that everything went right for me and everything went wrong for him.
Yeah, and a great hat-trick from Moussa Dembele that day as well.
That was overshadowed.
Yeah. So one here is his favourite Glasgow derby. So the 5-1 game in September 2016. Any season where you're able to talk about a 5-1 derby win, and an appropriate question is which one is a good season for me as a Celtic fan, certainly. But would you say that the derby at Celtic Park, is that getting that one as well?
I think for Moussa scoring a hat-trick as well, it was huge, because no one for Celtic's done that in a long time. So for Moussa to go there, score a hat-trick, and I think it was one of his first games as well.
Yeah.
for us. So there was injuries through us, and Moose started up front, and everyone knew at Celtic Park in Lennoxtown like what he could do, and we were like, yeah, come on Moose, turn up. And tell you what, Demolition definitely turned up, because he's not playing that these days.
Yeah. Favourite goal celebration over the course, any player?
I've got to say my own against Kilmarnock.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best red card I've had in my career.
Yeah. On that goal then, do you think it was going in if it wasn't for the deflection?
No!
Are we allowed to say that?
I'm not claiming the goal. I'm just saying celebration.
I think that's fair enough to take a second booking for that. And of course, that photo which was circulating on social media, where it pans out and poor Greg Taylor is in the foreground of the photo when he's still...
Was Greg in it? I didn't know he was playing that day, to be fair. I think it was, to be fair, it was too funny, because I've jumped up on the boards, celebrated, and a couple of the lads have kind of like just pushed me over just that little bit, but my momentum's obviously taking me over. Some fans come running towards me, and then managed to get away from them all. But Johnny, the smallest guy in the park, is like, Brownie, come here. He's not seen you, hopefully. And Johnny's trying to hide me and shield me for the referee. So I go back and take centre. I was like, Johnny, I'm getting sent off. And he was like, no, I think we're getting away with it. I'm slowly walking around, and you just see the ref coming, yeah, the smile on my face, knowing that we've won the game. And it's in a great position as well, which was fantastic.
Yeah, as you say, if there was a way to get sent off, that's the way to do it. Favourite cup win? I know we spoke about the Invincibles Treble, but is there anything else that comes to mind, or are you going with that one again?
Yeah, I think you've got to go with that one. It was huge for us, because it was the first time that we've ever went all the way through the season without getting beat, and there was a lot of pressure on the lads' shoulders. Mm-hmm. And we felt the pressure, to be perfectly honest, but we managed to deal with it as well. And there was a lot of people out there that doubted us throughout the season. But we managed to stay strong in the dressing room, and that's what great teams do. And we managed to stay strong season after season, and we just got to continue doing that. To
finish up, what win would you say meant the most to you? You've spoken about loads, which have got so much meaning to you guys and to Celtic fans as well, but which one would you single out as the one that meant the most?
What one meant the most to myself throughout my whole career?
And during the 9-0 run?
Probably the Rangers one.
Yeah.
For us, it was definitely the 5-1 at Celtic Park. The way we performed that day, it wasn't just about the result, it was about the performance as well. It was excellent. It was what Brendan wanted. He was wanting us to pass from the back, move it all the way through the lines, and we created chances. It could have been a couple more as well. And then we kept going to the last minute as well, and it shows you lads' fitness levels as well were a lot stronger and fitter than everyone else in the league, and that's what pushed us on that season.
Yeah. I know you've spoken about the way in which the 2019-20 season concluded several times already, Scott, but looking back over that season, I mean, as you guys said, you wanted to win it on the pitch, and it's just unfortunate for you guys, for Celtic fans all over the world, that you didn't get a chance to do it on the pitch. It was called rightly, and of course, the whole season is explored in the new DVD, looking over I say the highs and lows. There weren't too many lows over the course of the season, which is only testament to how well you guys played on the pitch. Reflecting now, I know that you guys need to focus on the here and now, but reflecting on how 9 in a row was won, how do you feel about it now? I know that it is a great achievement for you guys. It equals history from the team in the 60s and 70s, but just being deprived of that celebration with the fans, does that still hurt?
I think when you look at it now, everyone thought that football would never be played behind closed doors. I think for the fans, and not being in the stadium, not seeing us pick up the trophy, not seeing us pick up all the 2 trophies that we've won, and having the chance to celebrate with us, whether it was on the streets, in the bus, whatever, is always going to be quite sad. But here's hoping that one day, whenever this virus disappears or we get the vaccine, that we can all go and celebrate together, and we can bring back those memories, because I think it's an achievement that's happened, and it's happened before in our club's career, but history, but it might never happen again. So we need to try and enjoy the moment and celebrate in style as well.
Thank you so much for joining the Celtic View Podcast, Scott. We are going to leave you with an excerpt from the latest DVD, Our 9, Our Time, which looks at all the highlights from the 2019-20 season and how 9 in a row was won.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Joe. Top man.
All right, that's us. Thank you so much, mate. Enjoy your. How's the filming going?
Oh, male model material, mate.
After a vote on the 18th of May, the decision was taken by the Scottish Professional Football League Board in consultation with the 12 Premiership clubs to halt the domestic season. Celtic, with 80 points, 13 clear of Rangers, and a goal difference margin of 70 to 45, were declared much-deserved champions for the 9th time in a row. In addition, the William Hill Scottish Cup was moved to later in the year.
We wanted to finish the season off. Eventually, all the teams had to agree that the season was over so they can get the money in to make sure they can back all the players and keep the clubs going as well, which for the league it's what they had to do, and we obviously wanted to get over the line, but it wasn't to be. But for us, it was only a matter of time before we did get over the line anyway.
How we just cut short, it was a little bit sad, but I think the trophy, we just deserve it, you know. After all the thing we did, it was a good moment.
I play football to win trophies, and to already get one at a young age is amazing, and there's only more to come.
Then you start thinking about all the things you miss out on. You know, winning it in front of the supporters, with a semi-final to look forward to, with a couple of big games to look forward to, and you know, all that was taken away from the players after, you know, putting in a huge amount of effort over the previous 9 months.
We felt like with 10 games to go, you know, we could have really went and, you know, put a marker down in terms of points and goals, and we still had the 2 trophies to play for.
For me, you know, plenty of people have asked me this, still very well-deserved champion.
I'm very happy. It's important to win title. It means a lot for the supporter, and I want to make him happy.
We're in a great run and the gap did get bigger, and for us you want to finish the season off in style, and I think that's the way we were looking. We were working hard and we were getting the results and scoring a lot of goals as well.
In certain bits of the season you have to grind it out, but you know, once you get that league title and you get the confirmation that you're champions, then as a group you feel that sense of achievement.
It's up there with everything that I've won so far in my career. You know, the job's not finished yet. We need to go and get 10 and make sure that, you know, we cement our place in Celtic history.
You know, well, people say, well, you were given the championship. You know, we were going to win it. You know, we were 13 points clear, and we had a 25 goal difference as well. You know, so that's an extra point really if you want to look at it. So we were absolutely rampant at the time.
Given the restrictions in place at the time, it would be impossible for the support to celebrate this landmark achievement in traditional fashion, and so the next best thing was to host a virtual party that was available to view on Celtic TV, YouTube and Facebook. The celebrations would continue when breakthrough teenager Jeremy Frimpong finished his Oh My Days season as the Celtic supporters' Young Player of the Year.
And for me to get voted by the fans was just everything. Like, that's, the fans love me and I love them back. Like, I give my all to football. I want to make the fans happy, I want to make the team happy, the gaffer happy, and I want to win things, so that was really nice for me, so yeah.
The goal of the season was Olivier Ncham's unforgettable late winner in the historic victory over Lazio in Italy.
Ncham's chipped! Celtic have won it! History makers!
After an outstanding season, the Celtic support chose Odsonne Edouard to be their Player of the Year.
He'd score goals out of nothing. Sometimes you just play it into his feet, he'd go and beat 2-3 people and put it in top corner, and it's just that belief that he has in himself, and it's that natural ability as well that we know he has got.
It was really great to play with him. He had a great season, he scored a great goal. He's a top finisher, I think. He can score a lot of goals. If he's still working like that, he's a great player. It makes me feel good when the fan voted for me. It means I must doing a good job.
And the talented Frenchman was also the pick of the Scottish Football Writers Association as they named him their Player of the Year. Finally, when the writers reflected on the campaign as a whole and looked to confer their Manager of the Year prize, they decided that the man who started the 9 in a row sequence and then completed it would quite rightly be their choice for the award, Neil Lennon.
It's great for the manager as well that started it off to keep pushing us for 9 in a row, because it means so much to him, this club does. He's got that fire in his belly that he wants us to win week in, week out, to play fantastic football, but the hunger and the belief that he puts into us is unbelievable.
Incredible story for him, and you know, obviously the club as well, that you know, he was the one that started it. You know, he's now built 2 great teams as well, and in terms of the first time around they were very strong, and then obviously he comes away for a few years but comes back in and manages to build an equally strong team as well. So you know, that shows how good a manager he is.
I have a very good relation with the manager, and he's doing a great job.
It was a great fit, and I think it was the right man for the job at the time, and he's done incredible well.
Yeah, it's a brilliant privilege. Sometimes I think people underestimate me, which suits me. But, you know, this club is an emotional bond for me from a very early age, and it means so much to me. You dream of it. You know, you never say you never dream it, you dream of it. But to actually live out, you know, the reality is just an amazing feeling, and one that I obviously don't take lightly. I take very, very seriously, and one that I'm very proud of.